Maybe we'll also introduce another patient perspective. So we have Jillian Brown, who is with us from North Carolina today. She's had 2 successful pregnancies and also participated in a study related to cytomegalovirus from pregnancy until 2 years of follow-up. So we'll also very much appreciate her perspective. Great. Ready, Jillian?
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for having me. So yes, Jillian Brown. I've given birth to 2 children, and I nursed them each of them for about a year. And I'm here to give that perspective, and I'm just going to give you a quick overview of my experience. For both of my pregnancies, I consented to participate in just a screening at one of my ultrasounds for CMV. And the first time, nothing ever came of it, never thought of it again. The second time, this was in 2017, it came back that I had been positive for CMV for the first time in my life during the first trimester, which puts you at the highest risk. I had no other complications. It was a wonderful pregnancy otherwise. But then, suddenly here's this big looming risk that I was just told about that most folks have never even heard of. So I was presented with some information, part of the Duke University Health System. They were participating in this trial and presented with information about the risks of CMV, that there is, little research or even awareness, really, no treatment, no cure. And then that I had the option to participate in the study, which included monthly infusions, additional ultrasounds, testing for 2 years postpartum on my child. And, there was a stipend involved with each one of these that I participated in. And so from my perspective, I was already at risk. My daughter, unborn child, was also already at risk, and they were really major risks. So honestly, the risks or the benefits of participating in the study really outweighed any sort of issues that could come from it. I was made aware of all those issues, but really I was more focusing on how could I help my child? How could I help other children, other families who might be dealing with this? I very much believe in science. I believe in Duke University, which is also where I work. And I know I know what goes into having a study at Duke. So it's not just, somebody coming up with something that's untested and particularly scary. I have a flexible work from home job, so I was able to attend all of these treatments, and I had available childcare for my older daughter. And at the end of the day, I could also get the placebo, and the risks don't really matter. So I joined the study, got started. I did consider withdrawing a couple times, mostly because I was also going through a divorce. And when you're pregnant and going through that, there's a lot going on, and it sort of felt like one additional thing. But in the end, I felt like I really believed in it. It was something that I could contribute, and the staff were wonderful. The experience was wonderful. The staff even came when I had my child, and they were there holding my hand. So it was a wonderful experience that I've recommended other folks. I also saw it in my head as a possible treatment for what became a high-risk pregnancy. So that really kept me going. My daughter was born and very healthy, no problems then, no problems now. We completed our participation, attending a series of tests and keeping in touch with the study team over the next couple of years. I still send them pictures. And it really felt more like necessary medical appointments than anything very experimental, just because, again, we already knew we were at risk. And really, honestly, until I was preparing to join you all today, I guess I hadn't really deeply thought about the long-term harm, and what that could mean if something had gone wrong in my participation. And, from a parent's perspective, you do everything you can to protect your child. You don't eat certain things when you're pregnant. You don't take certain medications. You change your behaviors. I'd had a previous ectopic pregnancy, so I'd been through the experience of losing a pregnancy, and just knew how terrible that felt. You go through all this to protect them. And so the thought of, if something had happened and I had voluntarily chosen to do something that put my child in harm's way that, she couldn't have possibly consented to, is a really terrible, scary feeling. And I'm glad that you all are here to talk about that. Because I honestly, I've not been able to think of what amount of compensation would make up for that for me. There's, my child's health and her quality of life, the fact that she didn't consent to any of this. There's the parents, their mental and emotional well-being, which is already stressed out being a parent. Then you add on additional challenges. There'd be the guilt, the stress, the finances, the, vacation time, sick time from work, trying to take care of this, the daily life of a special needs child. When I was first made aware that we had this risk, I had to start thinking about daycare and who would take care of a child with special needs. And even that was incredibly stressful. So I'm here to offer that perspective to you. That's been my journey, and I hope I can be helpful. Thanks for having me.